So in 1995, I started sitting Zazen. I got the idea from a Beastie Boys Shambhala Sun issue. And the Beastie Boys were talking about Buddhism, and I was into the Beastie Boys, and I was like, well, what's this sitting still thing? And so I sat down, and then that became a kind of part of my life as I was teaching and working in different places. But something wasn't working. It wasn't actually like satisfying, or I wasn't what I thought it was. It all comes down to like I had an image of what I thought it was supposed to be like, and it wasn't supposed to be this. Whatever it wasn't supposed to be this. So then I became depressed, suicidally depressed. And in 2008, I had a moment of just, I was shopping for guns and I was looking for a place to, end my life. And then I had a plan to go shopping. And let's say on the Wednesday or the Thursday of the week, and then the Sunday before that, I went out under the stars in the dumbest place that I can imagine being. Still to this day, I was the most humble I've ever been. And I just whispered, God. And nothing happened in the most beautiful way. Like just the most, everything answered. The trees answered, and I answered, and the snow answered, and the screen on the window answered, and I opened the door and the phone answered, and everything answered this very silly question. I could have easily said causality, and it would have been the same fundamental experience, I think. So after that, I went to a friend the next day and I said, hey, this happened, because it didn't wear off. I have glimpses, and if you meditate, yeah, things happen, but they wear off, like drugs, they wear off, everything wears off. So it was still the case when I woke up, and I thought, oh, well, let me see if somebody out there knows what I'm experiencing. And so I went to the one super spiritual chick in the in the neighborhood. I'm from the 90s. And she said, oh, you sound like these people. And so she gave me a Byron Katie book and Ramana Maharshi. And then through those people, I found John Sherman, and then Mooji, and then Tony Parsons. And I just kind of went through this second seeking phase of learning about people who found what I was experiencing. And then about a year, maybe 6 months later, I realized that I could actually talk about it. So I started making YouTube videos. And I don't know if it's in Advaita or in yoga or in Hinduism, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but there's this concept called vasanas, where you have, so the ego gets its little slap, and it's a nice big slap. But then there's this sort of playing out of the persona momentum. So that took place on video. And for a while there, it was just this chaos of making videos, and I would be yelling and screaming. And I would, like you said, you don't know why you're doing this, like filming these. I didn't know why I was doing any of that at all. And so, but I just let it happen, because something about trusting the whole process was natural. And then I got tired. I started traveling. I started teaching. I started sharing. I never really thought of it as teaching, because I didn't know what I was doing besides sitting silently with people, as I'm sure you did. And you just sort of wait to see what happens, but there's no conscious intention. There's just being there with each other. So I went around the world a couple times and went and did meetings in different countries and did meetings here. And I was just like, at some point I just got exhausted with it, because it's not a personal experience. So there's nothing I can do for somebody. And that became very clear in a way that was like, okay, I'm done traveling. So I went and I worked at a bike shop in Fisherman's Wharf in San Francisco, just renting bikes to tourists. And it was so fun. The San Francisco Bicycle Rentals. It was a great little spot. And then I got hit by a car skateboarding. I'm just going to keep talking up till now, if that's cool. I don't know what, okay, got it. So I got hit by a car, and it changed my whole, like, there's no future. Like, I didn't really think there was a future, but I kind of had a plan of like, oh, I'm going to work now. And then I'm going to go, oh man, no way. I just got hit by a car. I was on the hood, and I thought, I'm getting hit by a car. Am I dying? Like, that was the only thing that happened in that moment. And then I hit the street, and then I got up and I hugged the guy, and I made sure I was okay. And I was like, it's all good. No worries. It was a kid at Berkeley. It was on campus. And so I immediately went to quit my job, though. Like, I fired myself, as I call it, because I wasn't going to be a good employee anymore. I just got hit by a car, and there was nothing that wanted to go to work. So then I went skateboarding for a month, every day for a month. It was one of the best, like, memories I have of just waking up and being like an 11-year-old kid, just skating all day long and just, and it was really fun. And then I went to Europe and I did some more meetings. And then I came back. And also through all this time from 2011 to 2018, I was drinking and smoking a lot of weed. Like I was trying to deal with, I have bipolar, like to be very transparent, I have bipolar 1, I am diagnosed, I take an antipsychotic every night. I'm safe, I'm managed, I'm happy, I live with my parents, like it's wonderful to be able to help them. I'm not on the street, which is where I ended up eventually. And so, yeah. So I was trying to manage myself with substance abuse or just the substances. I don't think I was abusing it, but then in the end I was. Um, so I came back from Europe and there was nothing for me. And I just like kind of slowly drank and smoked my way into eating out of trash cans and sleeping on the street and just like not, it's an adventure that I look at it now. It's not the smartest adventure, but it's like, it goes back to this idea of vasanas. Like my story, I had to play out like this. And to this day, it's still those things that are playing out. I have a question of whether vasanas ever end because of the amount of momentum. Like we can't all wake up when we're 17, like Ramana did or whatever. So the COVID thing's been fascinating living with the folks. And meeting with a psychiatrist has been fascinating because they're, I don't want to say they're useless, but they're just really quiet and chill, and they don't do much at this point. At least the guy I have, he doesn't tell me much. He just, are you okay? Okay, good. We'll see you next time. Like, okay. And I feel good right now. I feel alive and excited. But like like you said earlier, just, there's an exhaustion that comes with being the person in the chair. And I had a friend, I worked at a summer camp every summer. In between all this, I'd go up to this camp in Yosemite and work up there. And there was a guy once, he said, you worked really hard to get free and now you're chaining yourself. And I thought, oh, that is such a good point. Like, what a funny way to put it. So, but also it's a maturity thing. Like I'm 44. I don't think I'm mature enough to have an audience of people to then tend to, like the way that I think a really good teacher can actually tend to a crowd of people like they're their children or something. And I think that happens later, like when I'm 70. Not that I want to do it, but just I don't think it makes sense for a guy like me to be in front of the room going, hey, you can't have my experience.
Thank you. That's